When a woman regrets losing you, she won't rush to tell you. She won't text you out of nowhere or suddenly show up saying she made a mistake. Instead, she'll go quiet. So quiet that her silence speaks volumes. That silence, that sudden distance, that change in energy, it's her confession. It's the unspoken truth that she wishes she could take back what happened, but she can't. Pride stands between what she feels and what she's willing to admit. And the longer she stays silent, the louder her regret becomes. When you were there, giving her your time, your attention, and your energy, she thought it would never end. She took that consistency for granted. She thought your messages would keep coming, your presence would remain steady, and your patience would always be there waiting. But the moment you decided to walk away, not in anger, not in desperation, but in calm acceptance, that's when she felt something shift. At first, she might have pretended not to care. She might have told herself she's better off, that she's free, that she's moving on. But deep inside, something started to echo. The quiet realization that she lost a man who genuinely cared, a man who didn't need her validation to feel complete. That silence she holds on to now isn't power, it's protection. It's the armor she wears because she's terrified of rejection, of facing the version of you that no longer chases, no longer pleads, no longer tries to fix what she broke. She replays the moments in her head, the arguments, the words she said, the cold tone she used, and wonders what made her push you away. Every time she remembers how calm you became when you pulled back, she feels that sting of guilt growing heavy. She knows she could have said something, done something, chosen differently, but she didn't. And now she can't bring herself to reach out because it would mean admitting that she lost something rare. The silence becomes her punishment. It eats away at her when she sees you smiling, when she hears from mutual friends that you're doing better, when she realizes the world didn't stop turning without her. She feels the emptiness of her decisions every night when she scrolls through old pictures or sees your name pop up in her memories. But her pride won't let her message you. She'll sit there, phone in hand, typing and deleting the same message over and over, caught between wanting to say, I miss you, and being too afraid to face what she's done. And that's the truth most men overlook. Silence doesn't always mean indifference. Sometimes silence means she's drowning in emotions she can't express, trapped between her ego and her regret. She knows the moment she reaches out, it confirms that she was wrong. So instead, she stays quiet, hoping you'll break first, praying that somehow the distance will fade. But deep down, she knows you won't. And that realization becomes her greatest regret. In the end, her silence says everything her lips never could. When she starts to realize the depth of what she lost, her mind doesn't stop. It replays moments over and over again, every detail, every word, every time she felt your energy and ignored it. She lies awake at night wondering how things reached this point, how someone who once made her feel safe and understood became a memory she can't escape. It's not the absence of you that breaks her at first, it's the realization that you're not coming back. That's when the silence becomes unbearable, because in that silence, she's left alone with her thoughts, and those thoughts remind her of the truth she's been running from. She pushed away something real. At first, she'll try to distract herself. She'll go out, laugh a little louder, post stories that make it seem like she's glowing, like she's living her best life. But when the noise dies down, when the lights go off, and she's alone again, the facade fades. That's when regret settles in like a shadow. Every place she goes reminds her of you. Not because she wants it to, but because her mind can't let go. She starts to miss the small things, the way you used to check up on her, the calmness in your voice when she overreacted, the way you never made her feel judged, only understood. And now she has to live with the reality that she may never experience that kind of energy again. She begins to feel the weight of silence differently now. What once felt like control now feels like emptiness. She wonders if you think about her. She imagines you moving on, becoming stronger, smiling without her. And that hurts more than she'll ever admit. Her pride keeps her from reaching out, but her heart aches for a response that never comes. Every unread message she doesn't send, every call she stops herself from making, adds another layer to her regret. She starts to realize that she didn't just lose you, she lost the version of herself that existed when she was with you, the softer, more open version she didn't know how to protect. Her silence turns into reflection, and reflection turns into self-blame. She'll analyze everything. What if I had said this differently? What if I hadn't pulled away? What if I hadn't let my ego take over? But time doesn't rewind for anyone. You can feel sorry, you can understand your mistakes, but that doesn't guarantee a second chance. And deep down, she knows that the version of you who once waited for her, the man who once reached out, no longer exists. You've changed, evolved through the silence while she's stuck fighting her own emotions. The irony is, she'll never tell anyone how much she misses you. She'll keep it hidden behind smiles and distractions because admitting it would mean facing herself. And that's the hardest part. Realizing that she could have chosen peace, love, and connection, but instead chose pride. Now her silence is filled with all the words she should have said when she still had the chance. And every day that passes without you, that silence gets heavier, louder, and more painful. Her unspoken punishment for letting something genuine slip away. When she starts to regret losing you, her silence isn't just about not talking. It's about the emotional storm happening inside her. Regret doesn't always scream or cry. Sometimes it whispers in the quiet moments when no one is around. She'll scroll through old messages, photos, or memories she thought she had buried, and suddenly the reality hits. You were different. You didn't play games. You didn't beg for attention. You showed up with consistency and strength. And now that consistency is gone, that calmness she once took for granted has turned into silence. And that silence now echoes louder than any argument ever could. In those moments, she begins to feel the contrast, the difference between what she has now and what she had with you. Maybe she's talking to someone else, but it doesn't feel the same. The conversations lack depth, the energy feels forced, and she finds herself comparing, not because she wants to, but because her heart does it naturally. You became her standard without her realizing it. The way you made her feel seen, the way you understood her without her having to explain, the way you stayed grounded when she was emotional, that left an imprint. Now that you're gone, every interaction reminds her of what she lost. You'll start to feel that mix of shame and confusion, ashamed for how she acted, confused about why she let you slip away. It's in this space that regret deepens because she finally sees things from your perspective. She remembers the times you tried to communicate, the moments you showed care, even when she was distant, and how you stayed calm when she pushed you away. At the time, she thought that meant you'd never leave, that you could test your patience and you'd always be there. But now she's learning the truth. Strong men walk away when their peace is disturbed. As her days go by, her silence becomes a mask. She'll act like she's unbothered, like life is moving on, but her mind keeps replaying what ifs. What if she had responded differently? What if she had valued your effort instead of testing it? That's the cruel thing about regret. It doesn't always come immediately. It arrives when the world is quiet, when you've already healed, and when she realizes that her silence didn't protect her pride, it cost her something real. She'll check your social media from time to time just to see if you're okay, maybe hoping to find a sign that you miss her too. But what hurts her most is seeing you unbothered, living your life, maybe even growing stronger. That's when she realizes her silence didn't punish you, it punished her. Because while you've moved forward, she's stuck in the same emotional loop, silently battling the guilt and pain she can't express. In the end, her silence is not peace. It's her unspoken confession, her invisible apology. And every quiet night she spends thinking of you, she feels the weight of the truth that losing you wasn't just losing a person, it was losing the one who truly understood her soul. When she realizes what she's lost, she won't rush to reach out. She'll go quiet, not because she doesn't care, but because her pride and emotions are in conflict. That silence is her battlefield. On one side, she wants to talk to you, to say she misses you, to ask if you're still thinking about her. But on the other side, her ego whispers that she shouldn't be the one to break first. She fears rejection. She fears looking weak. And more than that, she fears discovering that you've truly moved on. So instead of calling or texting, she'll stay silent, hoping somehow the universe gives her a sign that you still care. That's what makes her silence so powerful. It's not peace, it's internal chaos. Every day she holds back from reaching out. She's fighting with her own thoughts. She tells herself she doesn't care, but then checks her phone for your name. She tries to distract herself with work, friends, or someone new. But every small reminder of you brings her back to that unresolved pain. That's why silence after regret is so heavy. It's the moment when she realizes she can't undo the past. Yet, she's too afraid to confront it. In her quiet moments, she starts replaying everything. The last conversation, the look on your face when things fell apart, the way you didn't chase after her when she walked away. At first, she may have mistaken your calmness for indifference, but now she's starting to see it for what it really was. Strength. You weren't being cold, you were setting a boundary. You didn't stay silent to manipulate her, you did it to protect your peace. That realization begins to sink in deeper than any words you could have said. It's not the silence that hurts her, it's the reason behind your silence that does. And so she starts to regret not valuing that calmness, not seeing the depth of your maturity when she had the chance. That's when the tables turn. The silence she thought would give her control now becomes her punishment. Because while you're learning, healing, and growing stronger, she's stuck replaying the same emotional cycle. Regret, curiosity, confusion, and longing. Every time she tries to convince herself she's fine, a memory proves her wrong. She begins to miss the little things, your tone, your reassurance, your stability. Those small details that once felt ordinary now feel priceless. But even then, she won't easily reach out. She'll hope you do. She'll wait for your message just to confirm she still matters. But when it doesn't come, that's when the silence becomes unbearable. She realizes that you've accepted what she hasn't, that sometimes walking away is love too. And in that realization, her silence turns into the weight of her own regret, a truth she carries quietly, knowing she's the reason you both fell apart. In the end, her silence says everything her words never could. She's sorry, she's hurting, and she finally understands what losing you really means. When she starts to feel regret, one of the hardest things she experiences is the weight of her own reflection. Late at night, when the world quiets down and distractions fade away, she begins to think about the moments you took for granted, your patience, your understanding, your presence. She begins to realize that your silence isn't a game, it's growth. It's a form of strength she never expected you to show. And that realization doesn't just sting, it cuts deep because it reminds her that you're no longer where she left you emotionally. You've evolved. You've learned to let go of the need for closure, and that unsettles her more than anything. At first, she might have thought ignoring you or walking away would give her power. Maybe she wanted to see if you chase her to prove that she still had control over your emotions. But when she sees that you don't react, when she notices that your silence remains consistent and your life continues to move forward, something shifts inside her. She starts to feel a strange mixture of admiration and regret. She begins to see that while she was testing you, you were transforming yourself. That's when she starts questioning her own decisions, why she let you go, why she did fight harder, and why she allowed pride to win over peace. As the days pass, her mind starts to wander back to the moments that once made her feel safe with you. She remembers your calm voice during arguments, the way you listened instead of shouted, and how you always tried to bring light into her chaos. These memories start to play like a loop, not because she wants them to, but because her mind is subconsciously searching for the comfort she lost. That's the irony of regret. It never announces itself loudly. It creeps in quietly through small reminders until she can't escape it anymore. When she realizes that you're no longer waiting, that you've accepted the distance and chosen to focus on yourself, it triggers something deeper, fear. Fear that you've outgrown her, fear that someone else might now experience the version of you she once had but didn't appreciate. That's when the emotional tables turn. The silence that once felt like her shield now becomes her punishment. Every day that goes by without hearing from you becomes a reminder that actions have consequences, that indifference can always be undone, and that losing someone who truly cared is a pain unlike any other. She may not show it, she may post pictures, laugh with friends, or pretend she's happier than ever, but deep inside, that regret lives rent-free. Every time she smiles, it's chased by the thought of what could have been if she had just chosen differently. And no matter how strong she tries to appear, she knows one truth. Your silence taught her what your presence never could. It showed her that sometimes the loudest lesson comes when nothing is said at all. Eventually, the weight of everything she's done, the silence, the distance, the pride, starts to feel heavy. She begins to sense that the space she created to feel powerful has now turned into an emotional prison. The freedom she once thought she wanted starts to feel empty. It's in those quiet moments when no one is watching that she realizes the truth. She wasn't punishing you by walking away. She was punishing herself. She thought by ignoring you she could erase the connection, bury the emotions, and convince herself she didn't care. But the heart doesn't work that way. The heart remembers. And when it's reminded of something genuine, something real, it aches in silence. You see, when a woman regrets losing a man who once loved her purely and deeply, she doesn't always cry or confess it out loud. Instead, her actions start to shift. She checks your social media, but she doesn't like the posts. She replays old conversations in her mind, wondering at what point things began to slip away. She might even start to compare every new person she meets to you, but no one matches that emotional familiarity, that effortless connection. And that's when she finally understands what she threw away. It's not just about missing you as a person. It's about missing how she felt when she was with you, safe, seen, and understood. Meanwhile, you've grown. You've learned to let silence become your strength instead of your weakness. You've stopped needing her validation to feel whole. And that evolution is what truly unsettles her. Because now she can see it clearly. You no longer operate from pain. You move from peace. The same silence that once confused her now defines your confidence. It speaks louder than any message, any phone call, or any desperate attempt to get attention. She realizes she can't approach you the same way anymore. The emotional door she once thought would always stay open is now closed, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. As time passes, she'll likely try to distract herself, convincing everyone around her that she's moved on. But deep down, she'll always feel that unspoken tension, the knowledge that she lost something good, something genuine, something she'll never find again in the same way. That's the silent punishment of shame and regret. It doesn't fade overnight. It lingers quietly in the background of her thoughts, resurfacing when life slows down. She might see your name, hear a familiar song, or revisit a place you once went together, and it all floods back, not because she wants it to, but because her heart remembers what her pride destroyed. And the truth is, by the time she's ready to face that reality, it's too late. You're not waiting anymore. You've moved forward, stronger, calmer, and wiser. You've learned that the best revenge isn't anger or resentment. It's silence. It's peace. It's living in such a way that her absence no longer hurts, but simply reminds you how far you've come.